Hi, and welcome. This is Global Unified Breathing, and my name is Paula Rowe, and the name of the show today is Living Breath of God. And as you know, if you've ever visited the show before, I talk a lot about the breath and the connection to Source, to God. And by the way, happy new life. We're here, we made it. Good job. And so now it's really important for us to become even more aware of our breath. And a couple suggestions that I made last week was to set the timer on your phone, or also have someone call you that, hi guys, glad you're here this week. Have somebody call you so that you can also connect to someone else who's stopping within their day and remembering that God is our breath. Remembering that channel and opening it to receive, to take a deeper breath, to bring our consciousness into the breath. So today, living breath of God. So at this time, our intention through breath is to create an internal house within for the spirit of the Christos, the Christ, to reside within our hearts, our mind, our body in all ways, in perfect alignment with universal law, the perfect law of structure in divine alignment to the highest expression of me, of you. What is that highest expression? Well, we're all in the process of remembering. And if we're doing things to remember that it's really important to remember within our day that we're here to express our divinity. And the way that we remember what that is one way, is definitely through the breath. So we ask for to be God sovereign free. But in order for us to even know that we're not free, or maybe half free, or not even aware if we're free or not, is to raise our frequency and our vibration and keep rising so that we can open up and receive and remember from our consciousness all aspects of self, that higher frequency, that higher divinity that we came here with structure to bring forth, to emanate out into life, to offer to our other brothers and sisters, appreciating that frequency that's always running through our breath. That divine inhale, breathing in the particle of God, breathing out that particle to all of humanity. So right now, this loving force that's within us as we take each breath it's so important right now to be praying with intention of making a direct connection to Source, that God can hear your voice. God is aware that you are pounding on the table. I'm coming home. I'm home, God. I'm coming home. I know that you're within me. I know that I've maybe forgotten. I've swayed. I've strayed. I've climbed into a pit. And now I'm rising. And the way we keep rising through the breath, the living breath of God, is to make ourselves aware and rest in that beautiful breath, just resting. We must turn our attention to be praying with such fervor, for now we are all internally crossing our own abyss to the land of the right side of God. It's like we've been in this desert, and no matter how much you're aware of your divinity, there are many things that are going to come to light for you, that you're going to realize you were misled, believed things that maybe were the opposite of what they needed to be. The answers really are within you. They really all lie within the structure of the inhale of God and the exhale offering to all other Christed ones. So what I want to do is I want us to remember that our beloved God needs to hear that we're asking, we're imploring, we're for direct connection with this. You'll be really aware if you keep practicing bringing your attention to the God within you through the breath. You'll be really aware within a very short amount of time that there's like these little mind explosions, I call them, that happen inside, and you're kind of remembering things that you don't know how or where they came from. Jot them down, keep a journal, be aware of what's being cleared out and what you're opening to receive. Rising up internally is so, so important for all of us, to gather together, to breathe together, to pray with each other, to be steadfast in that God hears, that your light, your beacon that's going out from wherever you are is seen throughout the entire galaxy. There you are in your connection with the divine. So we must know that God is a loving force. So this is something that for all of us, sometimes we have to look at how we view God, our upbringing, our background, if there's any withhold or any old programming, we need to be aware of that belief system so that we can get on the beam now with being aware that God is within us and it is a loving force that exists, and nothing we can do can ever take that away. Nothing outside is going to save us from ourselves. This is us perfecting the inner dialogue so that we become aware we are one with God. And that doesn't take as much as it used to take, the perfection of the word, being aware of what words we use when we're talking about ourselves, whatever we're clearing, whatever we're trying to share with another being, is where are we helping to rise, or are we squashing or bringing ourselves back into the pit? So, nothing outside of ourselves can save us from the painful truth found in perpetuating self deception. And self deception is one thing that you'll find the closer you move towards source, towards God light. Deception starts breaking up. We can no longer afford to deceive ourselves. Happy new life is where we want to be, where we want to live, where we want to reside. And one of the ways that we do that is through our breath. So instead, we must remember to pray and look at the inner contents and change those belief systems, course correct our wording with ourselves, how we word, how we explain things, how we offer assistance to other people. What's the frequency that we're sharing when we're offering to another being assistance, because we're hearing something that maybe for us is something that we no longer believe in. So we have to be very conscious at all times, which means really all we have to do is really be aware that it's our breath. This is our breath that helps us bring ourselves into the moment and rest. Remember, I said just 3 times a day. Set the timer on your phone and rest in the awareness of God through the breath, and allowing that energy, that breath, to clear out all discordant energy. And the in-breath, being aware of inhaling the perfection, the God particle, the creation. So also today, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the principles of the Christed One. And what these are is, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to read them to you. Now remember, anytime we find ourselves in the lower density, when we've dropped down, just remind ourselves we've fallen into our own abyss, and that we need to climb out and get into the land, and that is on the right side of God. So for a moment now, I would appreciate if you would close your eyes. I'm going to say a prayer, and then I'm going to explain about the houses of Christ, this energy that we carry inside ourselves. Close your eyes and just breathe normally. Normal breath. And with that inhale, feel the power rising, the God source within us. Receiving through the inhale, we thank God for every breath that we breathe. We are honored to receive this diamond light particle of God. We are that diamond light. Beloved God, we request in our hearts and we pray to create a house for Christ, to purify our mind, our body, and our heart for the Spirit of Christ. We request to dismantle all internal houses of ego, to evict the imposter spirit and replace all of them with the houses of Christ. I state in authority and intention to be of service to God, to build a strong relationship with my inner spiritual light. Breathing in, birthing a new inner dedication. Breathing in and resting. Keep your eyes closed and just breathe naturally. Breathing in the first house of Christ that resides within us, that we invite in to the inner sanctum of our temple within, is the house of purity. And dear God, we ask that this house, that through our breath and the power of our breath, that we know is the one true force of the one true God, that purity resides within the internal house. Keep breathing. The second house is the house of generosity. And we breathe in this energy into the inner sanctum, inviting the Christ into this house of generosity. The breath, the power of the living breath of God, the generosity in the spirit within the sanctuary of the internal Christ house. Take a deep breath and just keep breathing, nice and easy. I'm not counting. I'm not doing any particular rhythm of breathing, but I'm opening my respiratory system as I breathe, offering space and expansion, breathing in the one true living God. And the third house of Christ is the house of patience. I know we can all use more patience right now. Breathing this in nice and easy into the inner sanctum in the house of Christ. The power of the breath brings in the house of patience. Use your breath and really feel it anchor inside you. This is sacred. This is a sacred prayer. God knows and hears all. And rising up in consciousness now, letting your energy expand with your breath. Now keep breathing in and bringing in the house of kindness. Kindness. Beautiful. We can all be kind. We don't even have to think about that, right? It should be natural to be kind. Let this kindness reside, and breathing in the inner sanctum into the Christ house. Beautiful. Keep breathing, real natural. Breathing in, the next is the house of discipline. Breathing this Christed house of discipline into the inner sanctum. Breathing it in with the breath of God. for the ability to always remember discipline like that we have discipline over those things, no more wreaking havoc over us. Breathing in the house of discipline. And the next one, let's breathe another minute on discipline. I'm feeling breathing it right in, discipline. Strength comes with discipline. Perseverance comes with discipline. The house of Christ, creating this house with these attributes. The next one is the house of diligence. We've all heard that term, due diligence. But this is the diligence that keeps us moving forward at all times. Keeps us moving deeper connection to the power of our breath, to the living breath of God, bringing in this energy at all times. Diligence. Keep breathing. The next one is the house of humility. Breathing in the house of humility. This is the seventh house, the seventh spirit of Christ. There's 7 spirits of Christ, 7 houses of Christ within us. We are awakening. We are bringing them out of their slumber, and we are breathing them into our lives. And we are asking God, through the power of the living breath, to anchor this ever so rightly to the right side of God. Always. Breathing in humility. Visualizing all these houses. Purity, generosity, patience, kindness, discipline, diligence, and humility. The 7 spirits of Christ. So I want you to feel each one as a garment. If you need to write them down so you can remember them during the week. Purity, the garment of purity. Generosity, the garment of generosity. Wear these always. The garment of patience, the garment of kindness, the garment of discipline, the garment of diligence, and the garment of humility. And see these as white flowing light, a garment of white flowing light. This week, as you visualize maybe each one or one a day, with your breath. Remember the 7 spirits of Christ, the houses of Christ. We wrap ourselves in these garments of flowing light and surround your entire body with peace and love. The spirit and the garment of purity, generosity, patience, kindness, discipline, diligence, and humility. These are frequencies. These are frequencies that help us rise in our own frequency. This can become a practice. I love my garments. I love my garments. They remember that God is within me and that God is the breath of life. And I am filled and fulfilled with the breath of life. Namaste, all of you angels who joined me. Yes, much blessings to all our family of breath. Love your garments, wear them proudly. Invite them. Clothe yourself in the garments. The 7 garments, the 7 spirits of Christ, the 7 houses of Christ. That is a whole breathing hour, at least for me. Let's breathe for an hour on each one of those. And when we meet here again next week, let's hear how everything went. So in the chat, I really appreciate you making comments, and thank you, Miss Graff, Kathy Graff, for always showing up here, and Angel and Yvonne and Gary, and we have Breath, a new chat name, beautiful. It's a really beautiful chat name. How about breathe? Just breathe, right? So I thank you. And until next week, remember the 7 garments. Let's remember them this week. Namaste, family. I love you. Just keep breathing with me as we kind of end the time. Beautiful. Just breathe. It's so freeing to remember the garments. It's so freeing. Happy new life, beloveds. Happy, 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 happy new life. Wow. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate all of you. Till next week.